January 1st, 2024. The world is welcoming a brand new year. Fireworks are displayed all across the globe and people around the world are joyously embracing a fresh start with fireworks and prayers. But in Japan, a devastating tragedy was about to unfold. A tragedy that would terrify thousands across the country.
This is a major earthquake and aftershocks even for seismically active Japan.
Just one day after a series of strong earthquakes struck central Japan, another tragedy emerged.
And we start with breaking news from Japan. Fire crews at Tokyo's Haneda International Airport are tackling a serious blaze on board a Japan Airlines Airbus A350 plane.
And now Japan's transport minister says 5 Japanese Coast Guard crew members are dead after their plane collided with an airliner on a runway in Tokyo and burst into flames.
This is why so many people are asking the same question. What is happening in Japan? And many Japanese find themselves questioning, is Japan really under attack? Because, don't get me wrong, the Coast Guard's plane, en route to deliver aid to an area affected by a major magnitude 7.6 earthquake near the Noto Peninsula in the Ishikawa prefecture, collided with a large passenger plane on the runway at Tokyo's Haneda Airport, which is one of the busiest and most sophisticated in the world, causing the plane to burst into flames and tragically claiming the lives of 5 crew members on the Coast Guard plane. However, the toll doesn't stop there. At least 70 people have been reported dead in Ishikawa, with rescue teams tirelessly working to reach areas where individuals are feared to be trapped under collapsed buildings. And yet, this isn't something new in Japan. In fact, the country experiences around 1,500 earthquakes felt by people each year, with some form of seismic activity recorded about once every 5 minutes. So, to better understand the origins of Japan's earthquake and tsunami, we have to travel back in time to 1923 when the Great Kanto earthquake hit Japan, remaining the most deadly natural disaster in modern Japanese history, and thus changing Japan forever. In 1923, Tokyo was the political and economic center of the Japanese Empire, with a population of about 2.5 million people, despite the fact that the city is full of brick buildings and reinforced concrete structures. But if you step out of central Tokyo, you will find out that Tokyo was primarily a wooden city, especially across the Sumida River where the poor people live and they were densely crowded. It was a tightly packed wooden area, but it was about to be wiped off the face of the earth by a natural disaster Japan has ever seen. In the early hours of Saturday, September 1st, 1923, the Great Kanto earthquake unleashed its destructive force upon the Kanto Plain, situated on the main Japanese island of Honshu. A seismic upheaval with a magnitude of 7.9 on the moment magnitude scale rocked the region. This is the most powerful earthquake to hit Tokyo in over 200 years. A strong typhoon off the coast of the Noto Peninsula in Ishikawa Prefecture amplified the destruction, spreading fires rapidly. The earthquake not only claimed lives, but buried homes and swept away entire villages through landslides in the mountainous coastal areas of western Kanagawa Prefecture. The destructive force of the earthquake spared no mercy as it ravaged Tokyo, Yokohama, and the surrounding prefectures of Chiba, Kanagawa, and Shizuoka.
The devastation in Tokyo and Yokohama was unprecedented.
In Kamakura, over 60 kilometers from the epicenter, the earthquake's power moved the Great Buddha statue, weighing about 121 tons, almost 60 centimeters. But it's not over yet, because the most harrowing part of the catastrophe was about to begin. Devastating consequences triggered by firestorms and even a fire whirl quickly began burning everything until there was nothing left to burn, adding to the already alarming death toll. As if the devastation on land wasn't enough, a tsunami with waves reaching up to 10 meters, 33 feet high, struck the coasts of Sagami Bay, Boso Peninsula, Izu Islands, and the east coast of Izu Peninsula within minutes. Deep beneath Izuoshima Island in Sagami Bay, a rupture occurred along the convergent boundary where the Philippine Sea Plate subducts beneath the Okhotsk Plate along the line of the Sagami Trough. Yuigahama Beach in Kamakura and the Enoshima Causeway bore witness to the tragic toll of the tsunami, with over 570,000 homes destroyed and 1.9 million people left homeless. The human toll was staggering, with an estimated 142,800 lives lost, including 40,000 who went missing and were presumed dead. The earthquake struck during meal preparation, leading to large fires that claimed numerous lives. Firestorms swept across cities, leaving many stuck on melting tarmac. The Rikugun Honjo Hifukusho in downtown Tokyo became a tragic sight where a fire whirl incinerated about 38,000 people who sought refuge. And yet, another tragic event was about to unfold in the aftermath, which will be known as the Kanto Massacre, fueled by rumors of wells poisoned and impending attacks by ethnic Koreans, which unleashes racism, hatred, resentment, fear, and criminal opportunism. The Japanese police and vigilante groups unleashed a wave of violence against Korean civilians and anyone suspected of being Korean. The death toll from this horrific episode varies, with estimates ranging from 6,000 to 10,000 lives lost. The RMS Empress of Australia and the P&O liner Dongola played pivotal roles in rescuing survivors from Yokohama Harbor. Despite the collective efforts, the damage exceeded $1 billion, making the Great Kanto earthquake one of the greatest disasters endured by Imperial Japan. Since that fateful day in 1923, September 1st has been designated as Disaster Prevention Day in Japan. Drills and knowledge promotion events are held annually on this day, serving as a solemn reminder of the catastrophic events that unfolded. The scars left by the earthquake and its aftermath, both physical and societal, have shaped Japan's preparedness and resilience in the face of natural disasters. And as a result of the Great Kanto earthquake, Japan instituted its earthquake-specific building codes in 1924 and rebuilt Tokyo and Yokohama from the ruins. They revised the building codes regularly, eventually becoming some of the strictest seismic standards in the world. Despite all these safety measures and innovations, another devastating earthquake and deadly tsunami were about to strike Japan in the 21st century, claiming not just tens of thousands of lives, but also causing over $200 billion worth of damage. But first, to better understand why Japan continually faces numerous earthquakes and tsunamis year after year, it's crucial to understand the origins of these phenomena. When two tectonic plates converge beneath the ocean, the resulting earthquake releases a tremendous burst of energy. This energy travels upward through the water, displacing massive amounts of water, creating a series of waves. As these waves approach shallow waters like coastlines, their speed diminishes due to friction with the ocean floor, but their height increases significantly. Japan sits on top of 4 major tectonic plates, making it one of the places in the world most likely to experience tectonic activity, and thus making it prone to the devastating force of tsunamis. On March 11, 2011, Japan experienced the strongest earthquake in its recorded history. The earthquake struck below the North Pacific, 130 kilometers, 81 miles east of Sendai, the largest city in the Tohoku region, a northern part of the island of Honshu. The Tohoku earthquake caused a tsunami, a series of powerful waves triggered by the displacement of a large body of water. The Tohoku tsunami produced waves up to 40 meters, 132 feet high, causing widespread devastation. More than 450,000 people became homeless, and over 15,500 lost their lives. The tsunami severely crippled the country's infrastructure, destroying homes, businesses, roads, and railways. In addition to the physical destruction, the tsunami led to the meltdown of 3 nuclear reactors at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, causing a nuclear disaster. This catastrophe released toxic radioactive materials into the environment, forcing thousands to evacuate their homes and businesses. The earthquake and its aftermath had profound economic repercussions. The insured losses from the earthquake alone were estimated between $14.5 to $34.6 billion. The World Bank estimated the total economic cost at $235 billion, making it the costliest natural disaster in history. The earthquake and its consequences resulted in a 0.47 percentage point decline in Japan's real GDP growth in the year following the disaster. As the world celebrated the new year and people around the world were joyously embracing a fresh start, it was a completely different story in Japan, as the country was thrust into a nightmare nobody saw coming. It all began with a powerful shake, as a massive earthquake with a magnitude of 7.6 struck central Japan, causing the ground to shake, buildings collapsed, and chaos to unfold. The aftermath was heart-wrenching, lives lost, homes destroyed, and the air thick with fear. But little did they know, the day had more tragedy in store, which is yet to be unleashed. The quake sent waves of terror, not just on land, but through the ocean, triggering memories of a nightmare from the past. Tsunami alarms rang out and warnings echoed as people began fleeing for higher ground. And as a result, memories of the 2011 disaster came back. Panic spread as small 3-foot waves hinted at possible horror they might unleash. In the chaos, worries about a nuclear disaster returned, even though officials said it wouldn't be like Fukushima. But the fear of nuclear disaster resurfaced as power plants quivered. rescue teams battled blocked roads, racing against time to save lives trapped in the rubble. The Prime Minister, Fumio Kishida, issued a desperate plea. Every life mattered. Every second counted. Just when Japan thought it had weathered the worst in the beginning of the year, the story took a harrowing twist. An Airbus A350 collided with a Coast Guard plane at Haneda Airport and burst into flames, causing the plane passengers who are unaware of the ongoing drama to plunge into a fight for survival. The Coast Guard plane was on its way to provide aid to the people affected by the Monday earthquake when it collided with the Airbus. Unfortunately, 5 out of the 6 crew members on board the Coast Guard plane passed away as the plane exploded, adding a heartbreaking layer to the unfolding tragedy. The whole nation watched, feeling helpless, as the airport turned into something like a scene from a disaster movie. Incredibly, everyone on board made it out alive. The crew and passengers acted quickly and followed safety procedures, sliding down emergency chutes to safety. They left their belongings behind, just like the safety video instructed, ensuring a clear path for everyone to escape. Experts praised the crew's composure and the passengers' cooperation, saying their quick actions prevented a potential disaster. The airline, Japan Airlines (JAL), has a strong focus on safety shaped by past tragedies. In 1985, they experienced the deadliest accident in aviation history, but since then they've become known as one of the world's safest airlines. Despite the terrifying moments, the evacuation was successful, reminding us of the importance of well-trained cabin crews and strict safety standards. The passengers are grateful for the quick response, considering the plane exploded about 10 minutes after everyone was evacuated. It truly seems like a miracle that everyone got out in time. A big investigation started, but questions lingered. How did 2 planes end up on a collision course? When we look at what's been found out, it's like a puzzle coming together. The air traffic control said it was okay for a Japan Airlines plane to land at Tokyo's Haneda Airport, but at the same time there was a Coast Guard plane getting ready to take off. The Coast Guard plane was told to stay off the runway, but it seems like there was some confusion. The air traffic control transcript, which is like a written record of what they said, shows that the Japan Airlines plane got permission to land, but the Coast Guard plane didn't get the green light to take off. There was a moment when the air traffic controller mentioned that the Coast Guard had priority to leave before the pilot of the Coast Guard plane said he was heading to the stop line. After that, there's no more talking, and 2 minutes later, the crash happened. The investigators are trying to figure out exactly what went wrong, and they'll talk to the pilots of both planes. The police will also do their own investigation to see if anyone didn't do their job properly. It's a sad situation because the Coast Guard plane was on a mission to help after the January 1st earthquake, and 5 people on board lost their lives. A tough situation, and investigators are working to understand it better, but the miraculous escape of everyone on board the plane was remarkable. As the day unfolded, a nation grappled with the aftermath. Lives lost, buildings reduced to rubble, and aftershocks that rattled the very core of Japan. Evacuations ordered, fear lingering, and the indomitable spirit of the people facing yet another test. But as the sun set on this deadly day, Japan stood united. The events of this fateful day etched into history, a tale of survival, loss, and the unyielding strength of a nation. Thanks for watching ABN TV Global. You are the true heroes, and we will see you in the next video.